Hi guys, thanks for checking the video out. Steve Buzza here, and today's video, US Open. So, I think at the beginning of the week, we would have been surprised that the USGA would be accused of setting a golf course up too easy. That happened, but I don't think we could be surprised of the winner. You know, Bryson DeChambeau, he seems to have been gearing up to this, and his golf was immaculate, to be honest, and just crazy how good it was. So I really enjoyed the 4 days. I kind of agree. They did set up day one maybe a little easy for a US Open, but you have to be careful about being too critical. There was a factor that they don't usually have to deal with, and that was light. So it sounded like the USGA tried to set the course up easier to try and get the players around quicker, and it was a lot softer. That was rectified in the following 3 days, and I would say the course was like the perfect test. Wasn't any incidents, to my knowledge anyway, where you felt like it got silly. You know, very severe slopes, so you saw some shots that maybe weren't great and made you look foolish, but nothing that it was bordering that line of being unfair. So that's always a big one for the US Open. One person under par. So kind of ticks all the boxes for a US Open. And then let's get into the big debate about Bryson and distance. So listening to a lot of the commentary, both in the broadcast and post-event, and it's very much, distance, he's ruining the game. He's Rory McIlroy's comment. So I've got it here. I think he's taken advantage of where the game is at the minute. So Rory always will give a true reflection of his opinion. I think that's what people love about Rory, but the stats don't really back that up. You know, distance, Bryson was 7th. So 326, Rory 328. So Rory actually hit it further than Bryson. Bryson definitely had that, I think he calls it the Kraken. He hit one on Saturday that was like 360 yards down there. And whenever he seemed to hit a fairway, he was noticeably longer than everybody else. So I'm not arguing that he doesn't have that raw power, and he is utilizing that, but the stats don't back up that he was, way ahead of anybody else. Greens in regulation tied 5th. Rory hit 47 greens. Bryson hit 46. So can you see both of those players very similar there? The tied 5th in greens in regulation. If you look at total driving, when you're trying to build a score, approach play tends to have the biggest influence on your scoring. Driving second, and then putting third. And then on weeks you win, your putting tends to be better. You know, keep it simple. That's from Mark Brody's strokes gained research. I would read his book if you want more information on that. But this is the big difference for me anyway. So Rory, he was 50th in putting. Bryson was tied 11th. Whenever you look at the winner, it's very rare that they're like number one across all of the aspects. They'll be high, or sometimes they don't have to actually be that high. It's very common you'll see someone like top 10, top 15 in each category, and that equals a very dominant win. Bryson, yes, he's got the distance. Missing the fairways, he was tied 26th. You know, so the narrative for me was, well, he's just whacking it in the rough, and then he's too far down there, and I don't think that was true. He was in the rough, and yes, he was utilizing his strength from the rough, but he wasn't overpowering. And Bryson himself made a really good comment, and I hadn't really thought of this one. He said they made the fairways too narrow. You need to find a sweet spot between, obviously, if they're too wide, the distance is obviously very much benefited that way. You make them too narrow, everybody starts missing them. If everybody's missing them, you're better off to be further down in the rough. So I think that might be something that they need to start looking at. And then the one with Bryson, and this reflects how well he played. And I don't want to get away from that. I want to really focus on how well he played. Birdies, he made 13 all week, tied 4th. what that shows is he didn't go and destroy the course. DJ in the FedEx Cup a few weeks ago when he shot 30 under, he went and destroyed that course. You know, making birdie after birdie after birdie. That's not what Bryson did. If you only make 13 birdies all week, that shows you how his strategy and not making mistakes is the reason why he won. And that will sound like somebody that you may have heard of, Tiger Woods. When Tiger is dominating, especially in majors, he's not making mistakes. It's not that he goes out and destroys everybody. I think I'm right, and I didn't look up this stat, so if you have the correct stat, get it in the comments down below. I believe Tiger, when he was dominating in 2000, and in that period he was dominating, he was averaging less birdies than in the years in which he wasn't dominating. You know, showing he's not making mistakes. You know, Tiger talks about, you know, not having the big miss. You know, that's what Bryson has shown this week. That's the test that a US Open brings. And I think it was a great week. A great champion. If you love him or hate him, you know, you have to agree, very much deserving winner. And yeah, just an incredible performance. But get your comments down below. What do you think of Bryson? Do you think he's changing it to the point they are going to have to change the equipment and stuff? Do you think it's just that it's different? What would you change to the setup? Or did you actually think that this US Open setup was pretty much on the money? The one comment, like I said, about maybe they could have made the fairway slightly wider. You know, that's one that you could explore. But apart from that, I thought it was a real good week. I love having the golf back. We now have 2 Masters coming back to back. We've got November and then in the spring. God, so if you don't like Bryson, at least you got that coming up. Thanks for watching. Hope to catch you soon.